So right now we have the fuel trims here. Right now the car is at idle. I'm going to step on the gas to increase the RPMs and see how the fuel trims change because of that. So right now we're about 2,500 RPM. So right now we have the fuel trims at idle. We're about to shoot propane into the system to see how these change. Propane's being shot into the system. And see how much our short-term fuel trim changes and also our long-term both go into negative. Alright, so right here we have the oxygen sensors, as well as other PIDs while the vehicle's idling. We're going to take a vacuum line and have a vacuum leak. So here's our fuel system, as well as our fuel trims and our MAF sensor.
Now here we just have our results written down from testing on the Lucerne. That is an 07, so it has the 3.8 liter V6 and it is a MAF system. Now for that experiment we had some idle readings, revving, and we simulated a rich condition using propane. We simulated a lean condition using a vacuum leak. When we revved the motor, we saw a decrease in the short-term fuel trim with engine speed. So as engine speed increased, short-term fuel trim decreased. With propane, both the long and short-term fuel trim decreased. And with the vacuum leak, both the long and short-term fuel trim increased. Here on the Chevy Equinox, getting a key off, engine off reading. This is cold, so just before the cat here, about 66 degrees. Just after, again, 66 degrees. On the Equinox, this is 1 minute after idling. We are at about 1:15 here. And 1:03 after. Nope. 1:05. On the Equinox, 2,500 RPM. That is about 350. And 268. Here we have the results from the testing on the Equinox. Figured it wouldn't be a very great use of time to have a video for every single minute of testing, because that'd be 15 videos. But here we have the measurements. Of course, 66 degrees before and after when the vehicle is cold. Then here we have the temperatures at idle right after startup. So 1:15 before, 1:05 after, and of course each gradually increases. The before the cat obviously increasing more, after the cat gradual as well, not the same rate but still gradual increase. Bit of a jump between minute 6 and 7, but nothing too drastic. Then here we have running at 2,500 RPM for 5 minutes. Much bigger difference here before and after. Much larger jumps than before. Of course, eventually getting up to 535 before the cat. And then here we have measurements at each foot. This is at idle, and this is after the 2,500 RPM testing. So here at the first foot, we couldn't get an exact measurement on the exhaust manifold itself because of the heat shield around it. So we were able to get a temperature reading off the heat shield at 242 degrees. So it must be about, I'd say maybe another 200 degrees, maybe another 250 degrees. And then just after the manifold there, 487. And then I believe that might be before the cat as well. Then after the cat, 409. Then goes up a little bit to 447. But yeah, back down to 358 degrees. And this is just before the muffler, still after the cat, but just before the muffler. Here on the Equinox again, after doing all the temperature testing, we're doing the scan tool just to see what we can find. And here, we actually have a calculated catalyst temperature of 995 degrees Fahrenheit, and some other catalyst monitors as well. Not necessarily temperature readings, but test result, test date. We also have the AUT sensors, as well as short and long-term fuel trim as well.